Hello, my lovely subs. I hope that you all had a really good Christmas and a good holiday and that you're looking forward to the new year. I, for one, I'm a bit apprehensive about the new year because, I really like the October, November months in the lead up to Christmas. I don't particularly like when January begins, if I'm going to be honest with you. I love the autumn leading up to the winter, and you've got Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's the period of time that I love the most. So, but I hope you all had a lovely time with your families, your friends, you had good food and all that kind of stuff. And this is not just going to be about the what case or any other case. This is just going to be about me talking about fact versus fiction in general. Because I see a lot of people on YouTube speaking of things as if they're fact. And there's actually a lot of fiction and faction going around. And I just want to set the record straight and some of my opinions on some things, the what's case and other cases and other things in general. And there's another thing that I want to say before I get started, and that's to the BAM supporters and BAM followers and the people who consider themselves in her inner circle. I'm no longer in her inner circle. I want nothing to do with being in her inner circle. And there's nothing for you on my channel. So go back to Bam's channel. She has a second channel. Go and watch that. Don't come here. If you don't like my voice, if you don't like my content, if you don't like my food and cooking, if you don't like anything about me, that's fine. None of you have to like me. And if you don't like me, there's no reason for you to be here. Go back to Bam's channel. Go and watch her. Go and listen to her. Go and donate to her and go and bat for her, because there's nothing for you on my channel. I'm not going to be taking part in your live streams. I might look at your channels once in a blue moon, if that, but I've moved on. Yes, I might still talk about Bam from time to time if she comes to my mind. And who knows, I might even, depends on what kind of game she plays, whatever ground she's walking on, I could even, release some of the things that I found out and some of the recordings. But I don't plan on doing that. She doesn't plan, I don't plan on having her being my focus. And like I said, if there's nothing for you here, if you're not interested in me, you don't like anything, you don't like my content, you don't like my voice, you don't like this, you don't like that, then feel free to go back to Bam. She has a second channel. Go and watch that. There's nothing for you here. Right, now that's out of the way, let's get started. I was supposed to do this earlier in the year and I just didn't get around to it, but I just wanted to pay some tributes to people that that are past this year, icons, legends like Tina Turner. What's love got to do with it? The great, great Sinead O'Connor. I did not particularly love Sinead O'Connor's cover song, Nothing Compares to You. I never really liked that song. But you know what? Since she's passed, I really realized what a talent she was, and great voice, her delivery, the way she emoted. She was a great talent, regardless of whether I like her cover of that Prince classic or not. She was a great singer, and I actually was watching an interview with her on Dr. Phil. She had a very challenging, to say the least, and I'm putting it mildly here. She had a very challenging childhood. So I just want to give respect to those two icons, Tina Turner and Sinead O'Connor. The other person I want to acknowledge is Naomi Judd, because I remember when I heard about her, felt very, very, it really got me when I heard about her. But, all of those women are legends. I just want to talk about the Watts case. And, I've been seeing a lot of people uploading Watts content during the holidays, and I was a bit apprehensive about doing that myself because, obviously of the actual case itself. And is there anybody here interested in any other case? I'm really intrigued about the Adelson case. I watched the Dateline documentary on that case about a year ago, and then I watched a 2020 updated version of the case. And personally speaking, they were an affluent Jewish family, as I understand it, an affluent Jewish family living in Miami. They had their own dental practice, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. The beautiful daughter of the family, Wendy Adelson, marries a nice Jewish guy, and they moved to North Florida, and everything seems picture perfect, but it wasn't. And obviously what happened. And I've always felt that the family had something to do with it. And I've always felt that Wendy knew more than she's saying, just like a lot of people feel about the what's case, that NK knows more. And what I'm going to say about that, because someone came to my channel the other day, well, actually not the other day, just basically a few days ago, and was asking me about Dave's new protege. This guy, I can't even remember his name, and I'm not even going to say it, but Dave has a new protege, and they're really trying to making content out of this idea that others are involved, which I don't believe. I don't believe anyone else was involved in the Watts case. I don't believe that the case will ever be reopened. It's a closed case, and I'll be saying the same thing 5 years from now. But this idea that other people are involved is what brings views. People love that idea that other people are involved and that other people are out there. It keeps the case going, and their number one favorite person to go at is NK, who I don't believe had anything to do with it, other than the fact that she was the reason why it happened. But I don't believe that she had anything to do with the planning or the carrying out of anything. That's just my personal opinion. And it's a very unpopular opinion. But like I said, I give unpopular, truthful opinions. If I had gone with the NK thing, I would have been a much more popular creator. But that's not. Integrity is more important to me than popularity. Like I said, I've had a good life, so I'm not in need of popularity. I always understand that there are going to be people that don't like me. But anyway, Dave was on his channel. I haven't been watching Dave, and I don't plan to do any more videos on Dave, at least not for now. If anything major comes up on his channel, then maybe I'll mention it. But I'm pretty much done with Dave. I might mention him here and there, but he's not somebody that I want to focus on. But somebody came to my channel and asked me about this guy that Dave seems to be now partnering with, and who basically is putting Dave on a pedestal. And I don't think Dave has achieved anything in terms of finding out anything new about the case. Just like AD didn't find anything new. Shadows don't solve cases, and to me, it's just content. It's popular. Dave creates content that he thinks is going to be popular, and he's achieved that. He's achieved people getting views out of popular opinions. But the other thing that Dave does is that he doesn't fact check. Obviously does not fact check, because he said in his live stream, and I went to check it because somebody came to my channel and asked me about this other guy that Dave is now talking to or partnering with or whatever. And Dave actually said on his channel that there's somebody in San Quentin hanging out with Scott Peterson. Well, doesn't Dave realize or know that Scott Peterson is no longer in San Quentin and hasn't been there for a long time? And San Quentin is also a place where people live. It's, a neighborhood where people live. There's a lot of people that live. Well, it's not a major populated area, but people live in San Quentin. People live in that part of California, which is very northern California. Dave actually doesn't know that Scott Peterson is no longer at San Quentin, and he calls himself a true crime creator. I mean, at least fact check that before saying that somebody's hanging out with Scott Peterson in that place, because Scott Peterson is no longer there. My mum sent me a picture of her leftovers, and I was like, oh God, woman, you really need to learn food photography. Me and my mum both love food, and but when it comes to food photography, she hasn't got a clue. And she was telling me to send pictures of my spread, if the food that I made this Christmas. Because I don't necessarily have just one Christmas meal. Leading up to Christmas, I'll be eating a lot of Christmas dishes. But somebody was saying that my pictures look like, my pictures that I take of the food that I cook looks like stuff that comes out of a magazine. And trying to discredit me by saying that my food looks like something that comes out of a magazine. Well, I don't have to prove myself, but there is a reason for that. Because I used to run a food channel, a food website. And to get traffic for that website, I would send photos to food blogging sites, like Food Gawker and Taste Spotting, two sites that are not really around anymore or don't function as good as they used to. So to get traffic from my food channel, I would have to edit my photos so they look like they come out of magazines. So I use the best lighting for my photographs, and then I would edit the photographs to make them look really good and eye-catchy. so that I would get my photos accepted onto these food blogs, and that would give me traffic for my food channel or my food website. And those sites, they're very, very difficult to be, it's very, very difficult to get accepted if your photographs don't look a certain way. And I remember the first time I got my first acceptance after trying many times. And then I was able to build up a profile on those food websites, which unfortunately, those websites don't function like they used to. They're not as popular as they used to be. And this is just a few years in the making. And now I don't really run that channel anymore. It's not a channel, it's a food website. I don't really run that food website anymore. And I will probably open another food website, in years to come, But so I used to have to, in order to get traffic, one way that I did get traffic is through search. But in order to get traffic, I used to have to edit my photos so they look like they come out of magazines, because that's what the editors and the people who chose your photographs, that's what they were looking for. So that's what I do. And I'm going to show you proof one day of how I take the photos and how I edit them. And you're going to see the plates and the cutlery that I use in all the photographs, they're mine. And I'll show you the original photo that I would edit to the more beautiful photo. But, these are some of the pictures that I got quite good views for initially when I would do my shorts. Now the views have gone down. But the thing about shorts is that sometimes your shorts don't take off till a few months, till after you've posted them. And I see some of the things that I didn't get a lot of views for are now slightly picking up after I posted them 6 months later. So, that's how it goes. But, that's why my photographs do look like they come out of magazines, because I edit them to look like that. My mum doesn't edit her photos to look like that. And so they look a bit, I'm like, oh God, please, Bob, don't send me any more of those photos. Are you enjoying your leftovers? A lot of people, or some people, don't bother eating turkey anymore for the holidays. A lot of people I'm seeing, they're eating things like prime rib and filet steak, or a filet steak. They'll get a filet roast and pork. Pork is quite popular. I don't think you need to have turkey for Christmas if you don't want to. Thanksgiving is a turkey day, but I don't think it's necessary to have turkey. There's so many other things that are far more tasty. Although I do love the leg and wings of a turkey. They're very tasty to me because I'm a dark meat lover. Don't really like breast very much, apart from to make chicken nuggets. But I'll be eating, I'll be eating maybe some curry to start the new year. I love this photograph that I edited of a curry dish that I made. And I took the photograph a while ago and I edited it again to make it look more, eye-catching or eye candy. And I might make some chicken curry for the new year. Who knows? Are you having your leftovers? And if you're having your leftovers, you can share with me what you're having. But, I see people making all kind of stuff with their leftover turkey. And one of the most popular things to make is like a spaghetti dish or a soup dish, which I think, I'm saving the bones from all of the birds that I have, that I eat. I save the bones, I put them in my freezer so that I can use them to make stock and soups and all that kind of thing. So, I'm enjoying my leftovers, and I'm talking to my mom via email as I'm recording this podcast. And we're talking about food that we had and stuff like that. So check out my mum's leftover turkey dinner that she sent me. And I said, Mum, that plate looks like a hot mess. Oh, God. We're no longer in cooking competition with each other. We used to be a little bit, but my mum prefers my food to her food, although she will never admit it. And but we have fun with food. And when she was here, I did cook a lot of nice dishes for her. And I like to do that for my mum. And this is one thing that I wanted to talk about. And I might talk about it in another podcast, because this is very much like an afterthought. I want to leave England. I don't want to live in the country anymore. And I might tell you why in the future, but I want to live in the United States, or maybe somewhere else in Europe. And that will probably be a topic for another podcast. The food in England is great, absolutely wonderful. That's not the problem. It's other things that I want to leave England for. And I've always wanted to live in Beverly Hills, but I'll talk about this another time.